So, if you have ever been concerned about your child or preschooler's confidence, wonder what are they going to be like as a teen? What are they going to be like as a young adult? Will they actually have the confidence to A, stand on their own 2 feet, B, really be resilient to be able to handle whatever comes, be able to live on their own? This is the perfect place for you to be. So, I'm going to start off with a story. That I just heard about this week. One of my closest, dearest friends, she works for a university and she was part of the intake board for the music department. She's a wonderful musician. And she said, they go through all these different auditions. These young people, usually about 18 years of age, come in all jittery, nervous, give their best performance, hoping to get into this incredible school. And she said at the end of the performance, the adjudicated table, the teachers, professors say, "Hey, do you have any questions before you go?" And most of them are kind of, "Oh, yeah, when will I hear?" They're quite hesitant. Um, and she said that happens all the time. She's done this a few times now. And there was one student that walked in, had her audition, and it was clear she actually wasn't had the chops. She wasn't as good as some of the other students. And my girlfriend Michelle was almost not passing her off, but like, okay, writing notes down. And when they got to the question of, "Hey, do you have any other questions for us?" She said she paused. She took a step forward and she said, "Yes, I do. In that third movement, I didn't think I made the transition very well. What would you recommend to make it better? I really want to improve." And the head professor looked at my friend and said, "Do you want to take it?" And she made some suggestions. And you could see the student keen, really just taking this in. And as the student left with her feedback, holding her head high, the head professor looked at my friend and said, "I think she just talked her way into a position at one of these top universities." And I want you to sit with that. Because so much of the time we're worried about our kids' grades. We're worried about how they're doing, how they're performing. Are they going to be getting a scholarship through sports? But I think one of the things we really need to be concerned about is where is their confidence going to be? And here is something that loving, wonderful parents, many of them my clients, I've done it myself, sometimes are unconsciously, unintentionally fueling our child's lack of self confidence, where they're actually not going to be able to, like that student, how open, if you think about it for yourself as an adult, how confident would you be in an audition like that to A, in the moment, ask for feedback? And then B, how great are you at accepting the feedback? Not making excuses, not then feeling badly about yourself after, but actually being able to hold your head high. Because I feel like it's a perfect example of real confidence, of having enough humility, but enough self love and self respect, and being passionate enough in what you're doing to say, "I want to learn more." Don't we want our kids to, when I have one that's graduating in a few months, I want him to be able to walk with his head held high into any audition, but especially into job interviews, and to really go after what he wants and to be a lifelong learner. If you like what you're hearing here, I would sure appreciate you giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to make sure you don't miss any of these things. So now what I want to do is I want to look at what can we be doing now when our kids are little that can foster that kind of confidence. And here's one thing I have for you. It's how good a job, it's a question. How good a job are you of helping them to really embrace their mistakes? Thoughts. And when I say that, I used to do this like, "Oh, that's okay, that's okay." And I might be prone to, let's say they spilled their juice on the floor. And I'm like, "Oh, that's okay." And I go to clean it up for them. Or, and am I flustered about it? Because often as mothers and fathers, we'll do a few things. We'll either rush in and do it for them. We will reprimand them and be like, I told you not to put your cup close to the edge. Or we will blame them and be like, how many times do I have to tell you? Like, really get it together. And here's the thing. Even if we're not saying those words, sometimes we're feeling it on the inside. Why? Oftentimes we grew up that way, or sometimes we don't have enough space for our own mistakes. Um, the dear Valentine in my life, it's Valentine's Day as I say this. He says, I'm either winning or I'm learning. And can that be a philosophy that's embedded into your family culture? So, how do you do that? The first one I want to talk about is awareness. How aware are you? How much are you growing yourself into being comfortable with making mistakes? Or do you have such high expectations and standards for yourself? As soon as you make a mistake, you're beating yourself up. And if you're doing that, the self-talk like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. That's so embarrassing. I should have known better. I should have prepared more. It's all those shoulds. So that's the first thing. Second one is, are you really living your talk? Are you walking the talk in terms of mistakes are just an opportunity to grow? How do we do that? By letting your kids see when you make mistakes. And a lot of times, especially for us, maybe if we have real high standards, maybe we're on the spectrum of perfectionism, we have such high expectations of ourselves, and we maybe are quite competent and capable in so many areas of our life that our kids don't ever get to see us mess up or fail. And when that happens, can we say, oh my gosh, guess what happened to me today? I messed up. I'll give you an example. I'm known as being quite competent. I show up on time. What is the word? Some of my friends call me, I don't love the word. So maybe that's why I'm not thinking of it right now, because I don't love it. It's like it's not organized, but it's very like tickety boo. And for the most part, I am tickety boo. But as a human being, yes, I mess up too. I had a client call, and for some reason, it was in my book as 9. I, in my head, woke up in the morning thinking it was 9:30, so I took extra long on my walk with the dog. And it was 9:25. And I see the message from her, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just messed up. And at dinner, I shared, I was like, you know what happened to me today? I totally messed up. And the cool thing is, years ago, I would have beat myself up for it, but this time I was like, hey, how can I make it up to you? I totally messed up. Next Saturday, I don't usually work, but I will make it work for you. But I shared it. So that's my question for you that I want to leave you with. Are you sharing not only your mess ups, but how you make them better? Are you sharing, hey, part of the conversation at the dinner table? This is what I learned today. What did you learn today? I had a friend that one of the questions her dad would ask all the kids at dinner was, where did you make a mistake today? And what did you do about it? Because asking our kids better questions gets them thinking. And it also gives them more power over changing and improving. And that, as human beings, as being successful in our life, I feel is key. That no matter what happens, can we risk? Can we keep moving forward to improve? That's when we can bring what I believe are God's gifts for us to the world in a bigger way. What our heart, our passions, if you are, I don't know where you are in your faith journey, but what are your passions? Can you bring more of them to the world? And don't, as parents, we really want to see our kids passionate, excited about what they're doing, engaged? If so, you're going to want to make sure that you have adopted the mistakes give us an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to improve and be even more of the best of ourselves. If you aren't yet a member of the Stubborn Child Solutions Facebook group, I'd love you to come on over and join me. My passion is to support professional dads and pardon me, professional moms and committed dads to really rock it when it comes to being the best parent they can be in a way that inspires their child to listen, but without yelling, nagging, or caving in. If I can be of any service to you, reach out. Sending you lots of love. God bless. Bye bye.